Good evening, everyone. It is now 7:05 p.m. I will call the Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 meeting to order. There are two selectmen present, and one of our selectmen is running a bit behind. But he said to get started, he's about 10 minutes away. So that is what we will do. We will begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, it was.
You always
want
feel like
to?
you need to hear that after you say the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, agenda item 3, I make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes from May 9th, 2022.
I will second that motion.
Okay, any discussion on these minutes?
I did not see anything.
Okay, and I only saw one. Dottie, this was under item 10, the Riverside Drive Sidewalk Project. Armando Nunez was actually representing the bid, the construction firm that had placed the bid, NC Incorporated. And we had moved on to the next agenda item before he had a chance to speak and let us know that if we had any questions on the construction aspect of Riverside Drive sidewalk replacement project, that he'd be available for that. So I just want to make sure that we make the change that Armando Nunez represented NC Incorporated. And that was the only adjustment that I saw.
Actually, the only thing I had a question, these Renee and let's see, Renee being appointed, that was a new appointment?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I knew we had
Yeah.
reappointments and new appointments, and I just could not remember. Okay.
All right, any other thoughts on these minutes? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the meeting, the special meeting minutes from May 9th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes. Correspondence, we did receive Chamber of Commerce business after hours. It is a new business here, technically in Thompson. It's sort of right on the Thompson Woodstock line, but Woodstock Building Associates renovated the old Village Restaurant Plaza. It looks phenomenal. So they're hosting a business after hours tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. $7 for members of the Chamber of Commerce and $13 for non-members. And then we also received a letter of thanks in regard to our fire departments. They did a mock real life, in quotes, car crash for the high school students getting ready for prom. And Melinda wanted to send a thank you to all of those fire departments, and of course sent me a copy of that letter. Okay, and now we're on to agenda. Oh, any other correspondence?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, there is one piece of
Well, there
correspondence.
was, yeah.
And that will be a resignation. And during my selectmen comments, I'm going to ask to put that on to other business.
Okay.
So, all right. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5, selectmen comments.
I have to comment on the Maker's Day Fair. That was really amazing. First time I've been able to make one. Beautiful weather. It was fabulous. Kudos to those that put it together and worked so hard. And I know a lot of hard work went into it. Was there 80 businesses? Is that what I heard, or?
That's somewhere in the number, but there were some cancellations and late ads, and it was close.
It was a lot of businesses, and it was fabulous. It really was.
Yeah, I really wasn't involved with that committee, but
Well,
I heard it reported on.
yeah, it was a great turnout too, I think, so.
Yeah. We were there, Suzanne and I were there together. I know Ken was there as well. And we were in the heat of the noontime hour. I got sunburned.
But it kind of felt good to be out there getting sunburned.
It did.
It was
For sure.
fabulous,
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah, what else is going on in town? I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, I didn't write any notes down and I should have, so I do apologize. Yeah, budget passed yesterday, so that was
good.
exciting. I'll be moving forward with constructing the digital budget book. In the past, we had hard copy budget books. This time, it's going to be a digital budget book that we're going to be able to do narratives, talk about the town. So Bill Steglitz, our finance director, and myself are going to be working on that project together over the next probably 2 weeks to get that all mapped out.
Will they be, the developer, the software developer will be having a training session?
No, it's just going to be online training.
Okay.
So training, yes.
Will that be available for us as well?
No, it'll just be a published book.
Other
It'll be a
Boards and
published book that
commissions, Boards and commissions.
there wouldn't be a reason for you to have anything to do with creating the budget book. It's basically just going to be data about the budget.
No, but knowing how to read the reports.
They're going to
Okay.
pretty straightforward. They're going to make them as simplified as possible.
I'm not the treasurer.
All right. Any other selectmen comments?
You wanted to add this to the agenda?
Oh, yes, thank you. So can I make a motion that we add the resignation of Matt Whipple to other business tonight?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this addition to other business?
No.
Okay, all in favor of the addition of the resignation of Matt Whipple, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And additionally, I'd like to add, the Planning and Zoning Commission had a special meeting last night. And they moved forward with some language for the POCD that they'd like our approval on. I sent that copy to you and Ken earlier today. It's basically what the selectmen had proposed, but changing completely unimproved to unbuilt and undeveloped, which
So are you making a motion?
I'm making
to
a
add
motion
that?
to add it to other business.
So that would be B.
That would be, yes.
Okay, and I'll
9B.
second that motion,
So 9A, 9B.
and that'll
Okay.
be 9B.
Yep, so make a motion that we add the acceptance of the language for the POCD to agenda item 9B,
Okay.
other business. So you seconded it. Any further discussion on this?
Not for me.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Ken is here. Thanks, Ken. Perfect timing.
Selectmen comments.
Any selectmen comments?
Maker's Day Fair, we had a picture perfect day, a lot of vendors. Hopefully we can continue building on it. The building that the school is working on is shaping up pretty nice, so that looked really nice. Trying to think what else. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, we also have the Memorial Day Parade, which
Oh, that's great.
jumped out to me.
That's great.
Melinda from the school is really putting her whole heart and soul into this parade, with floats and entries from the band to the cheerleaders. She's also offered to have the art department. They're going to be coming down to town hall to dress town hall in patriotic swag, so to speak, around the windows and such. So it's fantastic.
That's
yeah.
fabulous. Now that's the 31st, right?
It'll be, I think it's
At
the
9
30th.
a.m. or
It's the
something?
Monday,
It's a Monday, the 30th.
the
yes.
30th.
I just want to put that on.
So Monday, the 30th, I think it
Starts at
steps
9
off at
o'clock?
9
Yeah,
a.m.
I think so.
Leaves from the school, does the traditional route around Main Street and ends back at the town hall. And then afterwards, the VFW and the Legion go to several cemeteries in the area to honor the fallen. So it's a wonderful day of remembrance. So hopefully everybody can attend. Okay, any other citizen comments?
Not citizen, select.
Oh, selectmen comments. Okay, hearing none, we will move on to agenda item 6, which is citizen comments. Citizen comments, if you're in the virtual audience, why don't we start with the virtual audience first? If you're in the virtual audience and you would like to speak, just unmute yourself, state your name and your address, please. I'm not seeing anybody. We will move on to the live audience. If you're in the live audience, please come up to the mic and stand relatively close to the mic so that it can pick up your voice for the virtual audience, and then state your name and address, please.
I'm Charlie Obert. I live at 10 Quadic Road. There are three issues, and I'm going to try to make them real quick. First one is the emergency town meeting that we just experienced. While I believe firmly that every resident of the town has a right to bring their grievances to the government, I believe we can also have procedures in place that will ensure that town business is enacted by town residents. And I volunteered to be, to work with Attorney Slater and anybody else to put together an acceptable standard operating procedure for, I believe, for all town meetings, but certainly for anywhere we expect that there may be some controversy. And most of us expected controversy when we went from the high school, from the library to, we expected that there would have been controversy for that meeting. So we can do that. We can do that without cutting into anybody's rights. The second is AV, audio video. I've seen these things and that we're halfway there. I believe that the town of Thompson can, at the very least, you and I spoke briefly, but at the very least, we should be able to get a consultant from Spectrum or anybody that can do broadband wireless now. And we should be able to get somebody that says, well, you know what, this kind of camera, and you've got the capability to put your town's business on a recording. Whether the state says all board members have to be in the room to vote or not, we've got people at home who should have the opportunity to be able to tune in. And by the way, if I'm a commissioner and I say, and somebody says, for selectmen, Board of Selectmen, at this time, that commissioner turned and said something, and then they voted. Okay, so now we've got a point that we can hand to Attorney Slater and say, are we gonna get in trouble? Okay, and broadband for people out in town. We should be able to pick up an iPad or a phone and tune into this meeting. And those same people that we should be able to get some consultation from as a gift. I believe that we should ask. I have done work with public access television production when I lived in Rhode Island. And I know that they've done really great studios for places that ask. Last point, the sewer line from Marionopolis. What's the progress?
I don't have an update on that.
Okay, sometimes when you have only one problem, you have only one problem. Sometimes if you got two, maybe they solve each other. Have you heard of the sewer problem at the condos?
I have not. Nobody has approached me
I
with
think
that.
you should ask about it. I've heard it on social media. A friend of mine who is a resident over there, and there's a lot of brouhaha about who's gonna pay for it. Marionopolis, condo, sewer line. Sometimes two problems solved.
You mean the condos on Route 12?
That's the one. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought the sewer line was already connected to that.
I thought so too. I'll look into it.
I did raise that point to Michael Kroger.
Okay,
I sent him a text message and asked him, have you heard about it? And I told him in a quick follow-up phone call that that would be good to raise the point.
I mean, to the best of my knowledge, the condos were hooked to the sewer,
They're public sewer, right?
Yeah, they got-
They're on,
Yep,
and they got public water.
right.
right.
And where the sewer line was coming down was not near the condos. It was coming
Right.
under the highway and
Right.
down.
It was
Yeah.
that, yeah.
we could avoid those stones that stopped the other project. You know, for those of you that don't know, that
You need to be at the mic.
Any other citizen comments?
So Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road, and I've got a couple things. One is that I was at the special meeting of the P and Z last night. My understanding is that you're going to be discussing what appears to be an offer of compromise, and I'm happy to see this is moving forward. Appreciate that. The other reason why I came up for citizens' comments tonight is because I realize it's only been a week. But at the last selectmen's meeting, I had talked about the meetings posted on the website. And I know that I received the email that Amy had promised about the year-long plan for meetings. And I did see a slight improvement in the calendar. There's still no June meetings. And my recollection, and I'll grant that I'm a busy person, but my recollection was that last night's P and Z meeting was originally a subcommittee meeting. And then all of a sudden, it was a full meeting, special meeting. And this, I'd like some way to alert us that something's been changed, but I'd also like to see more attention paid to what's on the website. The meetings aren't complete yet and do need to go out into June. It's only 2 weeks away. In addition, now I've been trying to look at minutes for various commissions, and I understand where some of the issues are, but there are commissions that have agendas posted and no meeting minutes at all. What was the one I was looking at tonight? I know that I personally know that the Ag Commission, there's some kind of problem with their section of the website, and I'm trying to address that. Oh, it was the appeals website, the
Zoning Board of Appeals,
zoning, but not zoning, tax.
oh, assessment appeals.
Assessment
Board of
appeals.
Assessment Appeals.
Yep, they've got agendas posted and no minutes that support them. So I'd like to see that addressed as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. And Valerie, if you have any other specifics, please let me know. We have been without the social media intern for a couple weeks now, and that's delayed getting things done. So, but I did have a conversation with Marie and Renee. They handle the administration of the website, but I'll follow up for sure.
And I guess that's the other question, is that there was an ordinance committee meeting that never got posted to the website. We heard anecdotally that there'd been a change in policy on who's posting and responsible for posting on the website versus how it used to be. But I haven't heard that how that's been communicated. So I think there's a lot of confusion on who's administering the site.
Right, thank you. I appreciate your input. Any other citizen comments, live or virtual? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Agenda item 7 is the tax warrant and mill rate bill. Review and take action. Okay, have you both had a chance to review?
The 2502 was the mill rate that
Correct.
the Board of Finance set.
Yes,
Last night.
last night, yes. think it'll be important. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve or accept this tax warrant, but I thought it would be good to read it so everybody knows what we're approving, since it's, the tax warrant, section 12-132, to Rainey J. Moran, collector of taxes of the town of Thompson, Connecticut, and the county of Wyndham. Greeting. By authority of the state of Connecticut, you are hereby commanded forthwith to collect of each person named in the annexed list his proportion of the same as therein stated, being a tax laid by the town of Thompson on the first day of July, AD 2022. And you are to pay the amount of said tax, less abatement and less taxes the lien for which has been continued by certificate to the treasurer of said town of Thompson on or before the first day of July, AD 2022. And if any person fails to pay his proportion of said tax upon demand, you are to levy upon his goods and chattels and dispose of the same as the law directs. And after satisfying said tax and the lawful charges, return the surplus, if any, to him. And if such goods and chattels do not come to your knowledge, you are to levy upon his real estate and sell enough thereof to pay his tax and the cost of levy, and give to the purchaser of deed thereof, dated at Thompson, Connecticut, this 17th day of May, 2022. And this will be signed by our Justice of the Peace that is here tonight. The rate bill, July 1, 2022, at a meeting of the Board of Finance of Thompson, Connecticut, legally warned and held on the 16th day of May, AD 2022, it was voted to lay a tax of 25.02 mils on the dollar on the grand list of October 1, 2021. The annexed rate bill is made in accordance with such vote at such meeting. It was also voted that said tax shall be due and payable as follows. First payment due July 1, 2022. Second payment due January 1st, 2023. Dated at Thompson, Connecticut, the 17th day of May, AD 2022, by the Board of Selectmen. I make that motion.
I'll second a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this tax warrant and rate bill? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the tax warrant and rate bill today, May 17th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes. So John can sign and head out for the day.
You. Thanks, John.
Appreciate you coming, John.
Thank you.
All right, on to agenda item 8, VFW request to distribute poppies at the transfer station. And it's actually on May 28th. They'll be distributing them throughout town, the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, but at the transfer station specifically on May 28th between the hours of 7:45 and 3:15.
I'll make a motion to do it, and also at their discretion, if they wish to do the 25th through the 28th,
Okay,
that they can be up there if they find volunteers.
Yeah, I'll second that.
okay. So motion has been made to grant the request to distribute poppies at the transfer station at their discretion between the dates of May 25th and 28th, 2022. Any discussion on this? Okay, all in favor of granting this request, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And on to other business. We added the 2 items, 9A. On Monday morning, I received an email from Matthew Whipple. He is a maintainer with the Public Works Department. He has noticed us that he has accepted a position with the Connecticut DOT, and I wish him all the best with that.
I'll make a motion that we accept Matt Whipple's resignation with regret.
I'll second that with
Okay.
regret.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, other than I would wish him well as well.
Well, yeah, and he's still going to be the chief of the fire department, so he'll still be around, but he'll be missed for sure. So all in favor of accepting this resignation with request, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes. Agenda item, other business 9B, the POCD language that was provided to us a few weeks back. The Board of Selectmen had submitted what they thought would be suitable language that was relatively close to the 1979 language. What's being presented to us right now is pretty much the 1979 language. So that's honoring that initial approval of open space classification. So what was changed was land meeting the minimum acreage threshold, which is completely unimproved, is stricken from the language and replaced with unbuilt and undeveloped. So they removed the word completely and changed unimproved to unbuilt. And once we approve this, the POCD language will be acceptable, and then they'll move on to the ordinance committee to create an ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we accept the PA 490 as recommended by the P and Z with those changes.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this agenda or this motion?
So this goes from here to the ordinance committee.
Correct. Once we approve the language, because this is what planning and zoning is recommending.
Does not go back to P and Z.
No,
No, the thing that we got to do is get the ordinance in place in order to
Right,
go to town meeting.
right.
go to town meeting, so that way they can have their open space and get the credit for the open space
Right.
accordingly.
Yeah, the
Right.
first criteria was that it was part of the POCD, Plan of Conservation and Development, and that's what this does. So, any other discussion on this topic?
No, just thank P and Z for reviewing it and sending it back.
Quickly.
Quickly,
Yeah.
they're trying to get it done in time.
Yeah.
So I commend them for that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, all in favor of accepting the language for the POCD regarding Public Act 490, open space, as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion passes. And that brings us to citizen comments. Any citizen comments? Floor is open. State your name and address, please.
Ray Williams, Porter Plain Road, Thompson. I just want to thank you guys for accepting what we did last night. And thank you for opening that up for the VFW to go from the 25th to the 28th instead of just the one day. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments?
Ellery Clark Elm Road, what Ray said.
Okay. Thank you.
I wasn't going, but I don't know.
Okay.
Dave Clark, 105 Hall Road. And this is in hindsight view of things. I think it's very important. Politics in this country has gone nuts. And there's more divisiveness than I've seen in my entire lifetime. And I lived through the race riots in the 50s and civil rights movement and Vietnam and all of this. And I've never seen things as contentious as they are. And that being said, I think that it's very important when people in a position of power or decision-making, that everything appears to be above board to the point of going beyond making it look above board. That if anything can be misinterpreted, and it might take a view from someone else to tell you this could be misinterpreted. Be careful here, like a third party. When we look at the town meeting with the contentions on removing the planning and zoning, there were rumors that someone was going through the trash and putting things in the ballot box. Now, there's no way to tell if that happened or didn't happen. There's no way to prove or disprove that. But it should have never been possible. It's one of those things. And you wouldn't have thought of it at the time beforehand, but if you went, okay, you're gonna tear them in half and people are gonna throw the other half away, there's no reason for somebody who wanted to. Another simple thing that night, the box was never shown to be empty at the beginning. So it could have been stuffed with ballots. And anything that gives someone an opportunity to say, this is fishy, shouldn't happen in the beginning. There shouldn't have been trash barrels near the ballot box, that type of thing. And there's simple things that you wouldn't think about, but maybe somebody else, I think of these because I'm a trained magician. So I go, how would I, in fact, I told my wife that night of how I did things. And I know how I would do things if I wanted to do them. The vote on the budget, the decision was made to not use the machines. But I don't know that people knew not to use the machines. I had heard it, that's the only way I knew, but the box looked like the box that the machine was in. And the machine sucks that paper right out of your hands. And I struggled to get mine into the box because I didn't know there was no machine count. And again, do I know the box was empty when we started? I know the machine should work, but I don't know on the hand. If you're going to do a hand count, you have to be extra careful so it doesn't appear. And that's all I'm saying is let's try and think outside the box of what might somebody else think on this and how do we stop that from happening? And that's all. I don't like the contention. I want to see things smooth out. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're on the same committee. We want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Charlie over at Bark Road. When you mentioned DPW, I've worked with microphones before. When you mentioned DPW, it reminded me on Saturday, there was something else going on. There were volunteers out on the airline trail mowing the side and moving tree branches so we could run through with the mower. This is a year when they're doing something called a TAP grant. And the TAP grant is a transportation alternative plan. Very urgent that we rattle whatever we have to rattle to get invited with NECOG and the state and the federal government. Some people call it socialism. We're getting federal money. So what? We need it. The TAP grant is something, he said the same thing, really. We need to make sure that it doesn't happen again. I took my rejected vote home with me that night.
I did too.
Okay, and I know when I went to vote on the budget, there was no place for a machine to take it. It was feed it into the side. I thought it was well supervised, but that was me.
I never noticed that the machine wasn't even working. I slid it in the box and that was that.
The whole side was opened up and you just fed it into the inside. What's like, what did it cost? $700 per machine if we use the machine?
Might be a little more than that, but I don't have the exact number.
It's a lot of fun.
And the paper,
Thompson, we went right in the top, just like you always do.
the stock that it's printed on is also pricier. But the legal notice does state that it'll be on paper ballots and not machine
It
counted.
did say
The
that.
legal notice did say that.
It said that.
So for future reference, when it says that, that's what it means, but
It's a way of saving money
It's a
because of
money.
the programming of the recorders.
right.
Yeah, and just so you know, I'm a moderator and I can tell you that's why we have multiple individuals from different parties. Because at the opening of the polls, part of the job of the moderator is to open up all of those little compartments and make sure it's empty.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
As a person of the public.
Right.
You don't know
I'm not
that,
saying that anything
exactly.
was-
No, I know you
I'm
are, but I
saying
just want you to
If it
know
looks like
that.
something could be iffy, now you get the conspiracy people going.
Mhm.
What happened at the high school could have been iffy. When you had a lot of people saying, I want to cut voting short, no, yeah, who were they? There were a lot of people in that room that weren't residents of the town.
Point of order,
Okay, yeah, we have to.
You're
you
right.
have to use the
Right.
microphone and
Yeah, Dottie's not gonna be able to hear anything.
Right. So, no more conversation if you're not coming up to the mic and saying who you are and naming your name and address. Sorry. We've been trying to interact more.
Was that a message from Michelle?
No, that was just me messaging Michelle earlier to
Oh,
make sure that she could hear us. Any other citizen comments? Steve Herbert, you just unmuted yourself.
If I might, Steve Herbert, 122 Wilsonville Road. I do want to thank the citizens who did come out yesterday to vote. Disappointed it's only 14% of our registered voters, but I do congratulate those who did show up. And I'm very happy that the budget did pass. So just a general comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any other citizen comments? All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to tax refunds, and there are no tax refunds.
Yay.
Yay.
Agenda item 7 will be executive session, so we will be pausing the recording. And the selectmen will be moving into the back room. So,
You want to make a motion?
Sure.
We go into executive session regarding the land acquisition in North Grosvenor. And it will be the 3 selectmen and no one else.
nobody else.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion and a second. Any other discussion on moving into executive session? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and it is 7:40, and we will move into executive session. All right, we have come out of executive session at 7:55 PM. No action is taken at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys. I love it.